going, folks? I don't know how many of you have seen all the videos I posted about my truck with the transmission and all that stuff. This is a 2020 F150 XLT with the 2.7 EcoBoost. It's full-wheel drive. It's got 355 gears. If you go through all the rigmarole of the PDFs and everything that Ford provides and GVR and all that stuff, and trying to figure out what the tow capacity is on this particular truck, it says it's 6,000 pounds. And I hadn't really started towing with this truck until within the past 2 years, maybe. Well, ever since I hit about 70,000 is when I started towing with it, because the last transmission was put in this truck at 38 and some change. It was almost 39,000. It received its third transmission. And so we're on the third transmission, and currently, after I come back from Texas doing a brush hogging job, or a stump grinding job, it rolled over 92,000. And we're at 92.14 right now, and currently at this moment. So that would put 53,000 miles on this transmission in this truck. And even from the get-go of getting the third transmission, it never seemed quite right. And so I've been watching for trucks for the past couple of years, and everything is spiraled out of control with truck prices, and I'm sure everybody knows it. And then just driving this truck before towing, sometimes on the highway, the transmission temperature would get hot. I don't know why. There's no reason for just driving empty for the transmission temperature to get to 210. That seems incredibly high for whatever reason that it's getting that high for. And so, recently I've been doing the tractor jobs and towing tractor places and everything, and so I made a trip the other day going to Bonham, and it was getting hot, and I had tow haul on the whole trip, and it stopped going into 9th and 10th. I don't know why. It just quit. So I locked it out to 8th. It got a little over 210, and then it came back down and stayed around 210, 211. I don't know why. It doesn't make no sense. And I wasn't even speeding. The average speed that I was going was anywhere from 55 to 65 for half of the trip. So that didn't make no sense why it was overheating. I wasn't running it that hard towing, because I don't know, I don't feel like beating the truck to death on doing stuff like that. And so that it didn't sit right, after having this truck for that long, and then to do that. I could understand if I was beating on it trying to run 80. That would just be insane. And then I've done all kinds of work to try to make this truck mine, get it set up how I like it. I put a brush guard on after an owl came through the grill. I put a black Ford grill in it, put the brush guard on it. It has a 3-inch rough country suspension lift on it, front and rear. It was level. It didn't have the rake a truck has normally, and it lacked. It looked terrible when I was trying to pull a trailer. So I looked for options to improve the suspension. I come upon a luck deal and got a Roadmaster active suspension system. I put it in here. made a video on that about how I have it adjusted, use a tape measure, before and after of hooking the trailer on. I showed about how I readjusted the suspension correctly, how Roadmaster says to have it adjusted. I did a little shock for the tailgate so it would soft land. That was very nice. I did the Herculiner, the Herculiner Professional 2-part spray and liner. Did that myself. I put in a seat release because on the driver's side seat back there, they make it impossible to pull that seat down, and there's plenty of storage space back there. So I bought the little kit to put on that to make it nice to release. Put other piddly stuff on, like the rain guards on the truck, the nice set, stuff like that to make this truck mild. And I really hope that, after having that third transmission put in and running it forever in eco mode, to hopefully set the transmission to not do crazy hard shifts or any of that stuff. But it didn't matter. It still surged forward and clunked randomly. When you would start it in the morning, cold starting it to go to work, it would do that crazy stuff, or it would skip a gear every now and then, or downshift kind of harsh. But after this last weekend of going to do that job, I decided that I needed to find something different. And whether it was another half-ton truck or a heavy duty, and I don't exactly need a heavy duty because my tractor is not that heavy. I mean, if you look it up on tractor data, it says bare bones, no fluid, no weights, no loader, 3,000 pounds. I have a loader, and I have the tires filled and a canopy on it. And then, depending on what implement, I don't figure that thing is 5,000 pounds. Maybe. I wouldn't figure it being that heavy, but it could be. And then my trailer is got a max load rating of 5,000 pounds, what you can put on it. It's got two 3,500 pound axles, so it's 7K. But 5,000 is the working load limit. But all of that is to say that after all these years of having this truck, I bought this truck right before my son was born in June of 22. And I got rid of it because fuel prices were so high in my F250 diesel. Doing the work I was doing, driving it back and forth to work, towing sometimes. That thing only had a 20-gallon tank, and I was having to fill it up religiously every 2 days or sooner, depending on if I was towing or whatever. So it was eating me alive at $6 a gallon on that, and everything else. And at that time I was the only person in the household making the money, and it was too much. So I thought I was doing something better for myself and my family since I was having a son fixing to be born. And I bought this pickup thinking that this EcoBoost would be a good fit to tow my tractor around, haul my lawnmower if I needed to, be a good daily driver back and forth to work. And it just quite hasn't fit the way I needed it to fit. It's done fine up until now. But this is the third transmission, and I don't want to take the chance of having to put another transmission in. I called several dealerships, and I got a quote for 10 grand to put another transmission in this thing, since it's not under warranty. Nothing is under warranty. And they didn't say tax out the door or nothing. They just throwed out 10 grand. Another dealership wanted me to bring it in so they could just look at it, diagnose it, do all that rigmarole without putting a transmission in. Another dealership told me they had one in stock and they could put it in soon, it would be $8,500 tax and all out the door. And I thought that was pretty wild. He said it was going to be $5,000 for the transmission, $1,800 for labor, and he didn't know what else I might need for it, so he added in 20 to 25% extra to cover anything else that might have came up, and that's how he got to $8,500, which that sounded a little bit more reasonable. So it could have been less than $8,500, but it still didn't feel right to have this truck. I've had it this many years and had this many problems with transmission. You know, having 3 and less than 100,000 miles on this pickup. So I went on a truck search, and I looked at Ford, and I was like, you know, I don't want to chance it again on another 10-speed. So I stopped looking at Ford, and that was including the heavy duty. Now I know the heavy duty is not the same as the half ton, but the prices on them was high, even for gas. There wasn't very many to pick from on a gas truck. It seemed like if there was gas, they were a nicer option, or it was a regular cab long bed, and I needed a crew cab. So I decided I was going to look at Chevy. Currently, right now in the market, there's not a whole lot of deals on Chevy, and they've got employee pricing listed online, but a dealer told me today that they can't sell it at employee pricing. They don't do that. The only people that do it is Ford and Ram. And then today also I seen a deal where the CEO of Ford said, you know, they're extending Ford pricing out to the 4th of July. You know, so I started looking at Ram, looking at their trucks, and there was a dealership I seen that had a lot of really good discounts on their trucks, and they had some half tons with, you know, about $19,000 off in discounts, but they were the high dollar trucks, the $90,000 trucks. And I don't want to go for that. I don't need that. And to be honest, I don't like the giant screens in the big 12-inch screen in the Ram or the Ford. I don't like it. The one I like, the newest update is Chevy and GMC. I like those screens. Those look nice. And I like the regular 8-inch screen that's in the Ford and the Ram. I like those. Those are nice. But back to that Dodge dealership. I had been up there before and trying to get a vehicle. I think it was over a year ago or so. They had a classic body style tradesman with a Hemi, no auto start stop, and it had the 383 gear or whatever it is, that lower end gear, the better one, and it had the tow package, it had trailer brakes, the tow mirrors, the full trailer tow package. And I thought, you know what, that'll work. It's crew cab, 4-wheel drive. It's got everything I'm looking for and nothing I don't. And they had it on sale for $37,000, which I thought that was a pretty good deal. So I did some inquiring. They said, yes, it's on sale for that. I make the trip to go up there, and they tell me I don't qualify for all the rebates and this and that there. And basically, in the end, they were trying to tell me that $37,000 truck with the negative equity I had on this Ford, I was going to be having to pay $1,600. It was going to be over $1,600 a month payment on that, and they were going to give me the interest rate well above 22%. And I was like, you're crazy. And if you look at the long term of how that would have played out, that truck would have been insanely expensive. And I was like, man, screw y'all. You lie all the time. So I had seen where they had discounts, and I didn't even bother messing with it because they don't shoot you straight. I wouldn't go to Patriot Dodge in McAllister, Oklahoma. Don't mess with them. They don't shoot you straight on that stuff. But anyway, I kept looking around. I found another dealer. I called them. They had like 4 trucks that was half tons. And I know there's a whole lot of speculation and rumors going around on these new Ram 1500s, but I tell you, I haven't seen an 8-speed in a Ram have any problems in a half ton. And I bought a 19 when that body style first came out for my wife, and it was great. I mean, it was a V6 two-wheel drive, but that truck runs so flawlessly. The only thing was that stupid auto start stop. I hated that. If it didn't have it, that would have been a fantastic truck. And I towed some stuff with it, and it was perfect. It worked out great, but it was a quad cab. It was too small. The car seat would not fit in the back at all whatsoever. So that was a truck that, we wound up trading. But it's kind of like a bittersweet kind of thing. Like, this truck and I have had a love-hate relationship, but I'm moving on, and I'm going down the hole for a Ram. I don't know if it's going to be. Hopefully, it's better than this. That's what I'm hoping for, anyway. And it's got a different group option on there. It is the 3.0 straight 6 twin turbo engine, 8-speed automatic. It's got some kind of different package group on this truck. So instead of having 321 gears, it's got 355s. It has the 33-gallon fuel tank. It's crew full-wheel drive. It's the Lone Star instead of a Bighorn. So it's not a color I would normally pick. I would not pick this color. I just don't like it. That's the only thing I really don't like about the truck is it's black. And granted, I don't wash and wax my vehicles very often. I do maintenance on it, but I don't wash it very often. I'm not crazy about this truck being black, but it's new. It'll have a warranty, and it has a tow package higher than what this truck is. So that's going to give me a better cushion towing that tractor around. So I didn't think this was going to happen, and it did. I've had a rough go with some things. My father passed away, and that's where the Chevy Cavalier came in to some stuff that I talked about. And that's some of the stuff that I had said that's been pretty hard. He was 73. And he had smoked since he was 8 years old, and it wasn't long ago that he had to have surgery. They had to clean out 3 veins in his leg from waist to ankle. After that procedure, one had collapsed, and then they had to go back for another procedure to do like a reroute. And then he was doing all right. He wasn't quite all the way. And then out of nowhere, he wound up getting sick somehow. He had pneumonia in both lungs, emphysema, and flu. And he had called me one night. Sorry, guys. Called me wanting me to come get him right then. And I was 3 hours away from him. I couldn't. I said, Dad, best thing I can do is call an ambulance for you right now. I can't do anything else. And so he got mad, hung up. I called an ambulance, and I guess he was still mad about that. He denied him the first time, and then 30 minutes later he called 911, and he went to the hospital. And the EMS, the people that I talked to when I called down there trying to get an ambulance for him, they're supposed to call me back and let me know whether he went or didn't. And I didn't hear anything. So then I started calling around to the hospitals, and I finally found him. He was discharging. He refused to stay. And they didn't tell me what was wrong. They said he was fine. But he had double pneumonia, flu, emphysema, COPD, and then plus all the other stuff that he had going on. You made it a week. And I don't know. My Aunt Alice and my cousin found him and came down and took care of that. And it's just been kind of difficult. Anyway, I guess what I'm trying to get to is, for having the bad, I'm finally getting a stroke of good luck on a day to trade a truck that could possibly become a money pit for one that hopefully doesn't. And I guess that's the whole point of this video, is just to talk about the truck problem. And I'm getting a new one. And maybe if anybody else out there has a new Ram with that 3.0 inline 6, maybe you can tell in the comments, you know, if you've had any issues with anything, if it's a great truck, if it pulls good, you know. I'd like to hear comments about it if you have one, or if you know someone that's got one and they like it. I'm about to jump off in here blind naked with it. I don't know. But I'll call you, or not call you, but I'll make another video about the truck after I get it and everything's settled in. But this one's not going to be here anymore. This Ford is going on to someone else, maybe someone else, you know, will put in some TLC to it like I have and make it their own, and it'll be a great truck for them, hopefully. I don't wish you nothing bad on no one else. But I can't take any more of this bad luck stuff with this. And then after my father passing, I need a little bit of good, and I think I might be getting it. I don't know, but I think I probably rambled on. I may have lost some of y'all in this, so I appreciate everybody that has watched or subscribed and watched any of my videos. I'm really impressed and super thankful that you guys have done that. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off. I don't want to run it out any longer. But I just want to say thanks for watching, and have a good one. If your dad's still around, call him. Sorry. Anyway, thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one.